roughly translated as the tower where the fish are salted. The city was named after these racks on which they dried fish and salted fish for later consumption. And that was the largest city in Galilee, the time of Jesus, before the Roman city of Tiberias began to be built around the year 19. Now, we all know of Magdala because we all know, at least I presume all who are listening to this series have heard of Mary from Magdala, Mary Magdalene as she is generally called. But until just a few years ago, we knew very, very little about the city of Magdala, the place from which she came. We knew something about its name, obviously, and we knew that it had to do with fish racks where fish, were salted and preserved for people's later consumption. But we didn't know very much about the city itself. And, a little less than 10 years ago, an important discovery was made in the city of Magdala. And it was made because they were going to build a new, I guess I can call it a retreat center. It's going to be a rather complex thing, but I'll call it a retreat center just to give it a name. And when you do any building in Israel, you have to get a lot of government permits, to be sure, many more even than in the United States, because of what might be hidden below the surface. And when they started to dig for the foundation of this retreat center, they hit something hard. Well, that slowed down the construction work considerably. But what they discovered was, of course, I shouldn't say of course, but what they discovered was the ruins of an ancient synagogue. And we're told in the Gospels that Jesus visited the synagogues of Galilee, and he had a disciple from Magdala. It's quite possible, more than likely, that Jesus visited that particular synagogue. And we know that it was in operation at the time of Jesus because there was a coin from Jesus' lifetime that was found there. That's a tremendous archaeological discovery, and that was one of 7 Jewish synagogues from the time of Jesus that have been discovered. At Magdala, as they did the excavations, they also found such things as fish hooks. They found some 40 pools for drying fish. Not so far away from there, and it's now preserved in one of the kibbutzim, a boat that was used for fishing on the Sea of Galilee. So that's one source, one archaeological find that gives us a little bit of insight into what life was like in a fishing village, an important fishing village, the most important city in Galilee at the time of Jesus. Now, other archaeological finds have taken place over the course of the years, and not so long ago, in some excavations just outside the old city of Jerusalem, I didn't find it. That was a very general editorial. We, meaning human beings, have found a gold coin bearing a picture of the Roman Emperor Nero. Now, Nero was emperor in Rome from 54 to 68, so he didn't become emperor until roughly a quarter of a century after Jesus had died and been raised from the dead. But at least in general terms and from the vantage point of 2,000 years difference, we're in the ballpark of Jesus' time. So that we know there was a large and very